You don't know the power of the dark side.
What's up guys, MissPess here, back with another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes commentary video, and we're gonna talk about the PvP tournament today, but I first wanted to throw in just this little video snippet of all the damage that my guild members, that's me, did on one of our last raids. If you want to know the specifics on how we run our raids, you can click the annotation on the screen or the link in the description below, but essentially everyone is restricted to only one attack until we do a Zerg, that's a StarCraft term, where everybody's allowed to use whatever remaining characters they have to get as many attacks in at the very end of the raid. So basically most of the damage you're seeing here is what people are racking out on their single attack. It's been a while since I posted any of our raid damage, so I figured I'd throw that in there. It's just kind of a little intro. Jumping right into the PvP tournament here, I did get a little excited about the tournament, forgot to turn on my screen recording, but I did get a screen cap of my initial setup for defense, and I'll explain why that was a terrible setup a little bit later. This content, just like every other new content in the game, has its own little intro tutorial, and it's real simple, real straightforward. It explains the ranking system of the tournament and everything else, and then tells you to select an opponent. This is the spot in the tournament where almost every single player will make their very first mistake, and that is paying attention to the actual rank of their opponent rather than looking at the power of their squad or just the setup of their opponent's squad. The goal here is not to necessarily pick the highest ranked opponent to fight, because this isn't like the squad arenas where you're going to assume that rank. Your rank is determined by how many points you score in the battle. You're awarded points for keeping your squad mates alive, and then you're also rewarded points for eliminating the entire opponent's team or as much of the opponent's squad as you can before you have to retreat. Now, another question that a lot of people have right off the bat is, can I use any of the characters that I've set on defense for my attacks? And the answer is yes. You can change your defense squad as many times as you want with no penalties whatsoever. When you're selecting your offensive squad, those characters can only be used in one attack. And it doesn't matter if you end a battle, those characters end up being used. To refresh a character costs 5 crystals, and that's 5 crystals per character, and that's for the first refresh. Now, the strategy that I used was to find the weakest opponents I could so that I could start with my own weaker squads and ensure victory. Now in this battle I did use my Wigs combo right off the bat, but I was still kind of just getting a feel for how difficult this would be, and it seemed pretty much like a miniature galactic war where I wasn't really worried about maintaining my character's health, cooldowns, or anything else at the end of the battle. I just wanted to make sure that I won. Now, if you noticed, I picked an all-Jedi squad as my next opponent, and for this, I pretty much decided to just go out and pick my anti-Jedi squad. You'll notice I picked Cad Bane. I thought, maybe I'll give him a chance. It didn't really end up panning out so well for me because his stun got resisted. I need to increase his potency, obviously. And then this happened. Poor little Cad Bane was proven to be absolutely useless. Not even really good enough for a PvP tournament. I still came out with the victory, I just didn't get the 28 points for keeping Cad Bane alive. Now, the strategy is pretty much the same going forward. Keep refreshing, keep looking for those weaker opponents. Don't be afraid to just keep refreshing. I mean, you can refresh a dozen times and still get different opponents every time. The goal is to actually try and climb as far as you can in the tournament before you ever have to refresh a single character. Unfortunately, if you're a newer player to the game, you probably are not going to have the depth of roster necessary to really climb super high in the tournament before you have to start refreshing characters. When you're doing that though, it doesn't hurt to maybe take a little bit of a break, take a 2 to 3 hour pause, let yourself fall back just a little bit further in the tournament so that you can get a little bit easier opponents. Or feel free, if you can't find an opponent that you like, that you know that you'll be able to get a clear-cut victory from the battle, don't engage it. You're going to be spending crystals on a wasted attack. So instead of potentially wasting those crystals, just take a break. Go do other things in the game, or just take a break from the game in general. And if you do have a few B, C, and possibly D rated teams on your roster, when you come back and you're a little bit higher ranked, you're going to have to be a lot more judicious on which characters you actually put into the game. Now, if you notice, I'm resetting my defensive squad right here, and it's because I realized that these battles aren't timed. That's a big thing to take into account. In the squad arena, setting a defensive squad that was basically just a timeout squad that would force your opponent into a draw was advantageous. However, in this PvP tournament, the battle goes on until a winner is determined. There is no draw, so set your arena squad, set your best high DPS characters, do something that you think you're going to be able to punish anyone who attacks you. Unless you want to be a kind person and set up a weak squad so that people can get points off of you. It makes no difference to me. Right here, this squad was pretty much a crapshoot for me. I run droids on my second account, but this was my main account where droids are really just kind of, they're there. They're all gear 8 at least, and my Jawas are only 5 stars, so coming out with a victory and all 5 characters intact on that battle really surprised me, I'm not gonna lie. Now, if you notice here, I just threw up my ranking prior to completing that battle and was 349. And the opponent that I defeated was rank 324, but my rank now is rank 159. Like I mentioned earlier, your rank is not determined by the rank of your opponents that you beat, it's determined by how many points you earn with each battle. It's pretty obvious that this tournament rewards players who have a deep roster, a deep, powerful roster. And obviously that is going to favor more of the pay-to-play crowd rather than us free-to-play players. However, I have noticed that as a free-to-play, I'm already rank 89. You can break into the top 100 as a free-to-play. It requires a little bit more strategic playing, but it's not impossible. And the refresh rates are pretty cheap. It is going to cost you 5 crystals per character for the first refresh, 15 for the next refresh, and 25 for the third. I really hope this strategy guide helped you out. If it did, give it a thumbs up. My roster review video for B2 is on the horizon, should be out hopefully tomorrow. As always, guys, thanks for watching. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, or subscribe to be notified whenever a new video comes out. And I've got some exciting news that I'm going to be sharing with all of my followers on Facebook and Twitter before I announce it on YouTube. So follow me there.